It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is so good to have you here with us.
Do it again.
So good.
Yes.
Yes. Now listen, if you're looking for some fun activities that you can do with your little ones over the festive season, well, many parents worry about reaching that very important early speech and language milestone with their little ones. Now, speech and language development, of course, are very important, especially during the holidays when you have a lot of time to spend with the little ones. Then you want to be working on that. So, on today's Baby Talk, we're joined by registered speech and feeding therapist Sammy Hammond, who has promised to give us a few tips on how to cultivate speech and language development, especially over the holidays. Because you have the time now.
You have the time now.
So why
Exactly
not?
that. Sammy, thank you very much for joining us. Lovely to have you. Cool topic. I really love this topic. I mean, you're looking forward to it. How's Bubba doing, by the way?
So he's good. Right now, he has
What's
gone...
his most prolific word?
His most prolific word is Papa, but I feel like
He
I'm
says
imagining
Papa?
it a little bit. He goes ba 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 ba. So it's close enough for me.
Close enough.
Do you know what I
Does
mean?
sound like it. But okay, so let's talk about some of those important early speech and language milestones for children. What are they?
So it's very important to bear in mind that every child is different.
Yes.
We have milestones as a basic guideline. Things that we're looking for at about 6 months is your babbling like you were doing now. Basic imitation of sounds and facial expressions. Then we're reaching our 1 year of age and they're starting to respond to their name, starting to say some first words, following really basic commands, and then at around 2 years, we're looking at least 50 words that they're starting to understand and use, starting to count from 1 to 3, learning various body parts. We normally say up to 5 that they're able to know and name. So those are your basic
Milestones,
guidelines and milestones. Yeah.
And then you get to a point where you're just like, okay.
Okay. And maybe that point might be now because, you know, some parents, and rightfully so, are tired. It's been a long year, so you might feel like, but can't this speech development and language thing wait until after the holidays? Like, I'm really tired. But you're missing out on a lot if you do that, right?
Yeah, so exactly. We always want to look at every opportunity that we can use. So obviously we don't want to make it an extra stressor in the holidays because it is time to relax. But again, if you are on holiday and you're away, use every activity that you do with your kids as a learning opportunity. It's very important to remember that children are absorbing everything around them. So the more input, the better.
More so, I think, than you realise.
Absolutely.
Because they really are like sponges. They just, everything. Like, where did you hear that? Well, then I realise I've said it a couple of times in the house. You're going to be very careful.
Yeah.
It's true. I'm not talking about bad words.
I didn't
I'm
say
not talking about
anything.
big words.
I didn't say
like
anything.
onomatopoeia.
That's amazing.
You see now what I'm saying? Yeah, that was just... You know,
Okay, all right.
I told you why. Okay, so let's talk about some of the fun activities that parents can do with the children over the holidays. I mean, now we've got the time, you know, we can really spend time with our little ones. What are some of those fun things?
So I always like to say is use the environment that you're in. So whether you are on the beach, at a game farm, on the ski slopes, give them that vocab. So if they're learning new words, reiterate them again and again. If you are celebrating Christmas, then, you know, you've got your Christmas carols, get them to sing along, setting up the Christmas tree, you know, naming colours of the lights, counting if you're building snowmen or sand castles, count the layers, the shapes. You can do things like when you're baking, doing sequences. If you're traveling in the car, I Spy, it's a good old game. That's where you're learning your phonics. So words beginning with A, something beginning with D. There's opportunity in everything. So it's just important to use what's in and around you.
Just to gear your thinking around that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to come back to this topic. It's a very fun one for me because one of my main goals as a parent, I feel, is I want to give my child the opportunity to be a multilingualist. So I want to talk about how early on you can start that and how you do it effectively. Because you go on YouTube and you see these videos of like 6-year-olds that are fluent in 9 languages. Like, what on earth? Is that even possible? Is it all a hoax? I'm going to ask that question. 021-430-9881. Call us with your questions.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is so good to have you with us. Thursday morning, baby talk time, and we're talking about one of the most exciting topics in my life, at least at the moment. Teaching your child speech and language development and how to get them into that space, hopefully, where they can be a global citizen and actually just develop as a human being through communication and learning speech and language.
That's the thing. And we're going to tackle the subject. We've been talking about it the whole time now, about adding a different or third, maybe second, third language into the mix as well. Before we get there, though, we have a caller on the line, Edwina. Good morning, Edwina from Johannesburg.
Good morning, Katifo. It's Edwina from Johannesburg. My son is 2 years old, and he's got a limited vocabulary. And I understand at 2 years old they should be having linking words and putting small sentences together. But he's only got like a vocabulary of 5 words, and he still babbles. So it's been a concern for me. So I just wanted to know from the speech therapist, what can I do to enhance his speech? He's in a preschool now. I've put him in like for the last month. But now on holidays, what can I do to enhance him, to get him to speak more? I don't know if a contributing factor is the fact that he was premature. So I just wanted to know, what can I do more to stimulate him?
That is a brilliant question.
Thank you, Edwina.
Sammy Hammond is here, registered speech and feeding therapist. Okay, so there's the question.
So I think the important thing to realize, and I did hear her say that her child was premature. So you need to take that into consideration when you are looking at his milestones, his or her milestones, and to see how premature they were, because often then we work on a thing called corrected age. So we can't expect her child to be on the level of, let's say, what a normal 2-year-old would be, because there's the prematurity factor involved. However, there are things that you can do in your home environment to encourage speech, and that's simple things like setting up your home environment that your child is forced to request, let's say, his juice on the table. Instead of him just pointing and you giving it, wait and say, what would you like? If he doesn't do it, then say, well, this is juice. Can you tell me what it is? Juice.
Okay.
And then you give it to him. So you're sort of forcing that speech, but in a very non-forceful way, and according to what he's wanting. Doing things like naming games. Always remember that your child is absorbing whatever input you give into them. So if you are busy playing, give him that input and say, what is this? This is a car, this is a chair, this is a dolly, that type of a thing. And then try and get him to copy you. And even if it doesn't sound so right, at least he's attempting to do so. And that's things that you can do so long in the holiday to facilitate speech.
Thank you, Edwina.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Sammy.
Pleasure.
Thank you, and you can follow Sammy on social media at Sammy_Ham, Hamm, and I'm sure you do interact on social media as well.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it's important also just to take into account, and this is something that I have noticed throughout my journey with raising my 2 boys, is that these milestones that we are talking about, they are milestones. And every single child is different. And you have to take that into account. Some develop faster, some develop slower, but they are going to get there. You know, premature baby, like Edwina, like we said, I don't think as a parent you obviously stress a lot, but I don't think you should, because that development will take place. It's going to happen
in its own time.
Not necessarily at the time that the book says it will, but it will happen. So
that's a
as
dangerous
parents,
thing,
we need to take a breath.
All right, so you want to teach, oh gosh, we got 30 seconds. Sorry, I just got deflated. I need more time for this. When should you start teaching your children multiple languages if you'd like them to be a polyglot?
So I always say the earlier the better. If you are a family that is bilingual, then definitely start, when you're going to start exposing your child to one language, bring in 2, but just make sure that it is consistent from both sides. So if you're doing English and Afrikaans, make sure mom is speaking to the child in Afrikaans, let's say, and dad speaking in English. If you're on holiday and granny and grandpa speak another language, I'd wait for your child to have their core languages first, and then get an exposure to some words in, let's say, Italian or French, just to avoid any language confusion.
Okay. Wow, so much to talk about. What I am going to do is I'm going to follow you on social media. And I'm going to be hounding you with questions that I'm going to ask on like the public timeline, and then hopefully if there's people that want to know about that they can catch on to it as well. But thank you.
Thank you very
So
much.
enlightening. Goodness. Okay, so as you heard, I think let's just use this time now during the holidays to spend with your little ones and teach them and enjoy the fruits of their development. Because sometimes, you know, it goes from them just going, and then one day they just go,
Juice.
bah, bah. Juice.
Just like that, you see that. But I think as a parent, just be aware of your surroundings and consistently communicate with that little one of yours. Very cool. That's our baby talk for your Thursday.